Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. As most of you know, a couple of days ago, I was at Lake Mead and over here at the Hoover Dam back on the 14th. I wanted to see for myself these bathtub rings that have been slowly but surely getting larger and larger over the last, especially a couple of years. The reservoir has gotten incredibly low, and just getting to visit the Hoover Dam was quite an experience. Looking at this thing, considering it was built back in the 1930s without the aid of computer technology or the modern day equipment that's evolved since the 1930s. That is quite an engineering marvel and very impressive to see. But it was also concerning to see how low the reservoir's gotten over the years, and I found a common denominator, at least associated with the Colorado River, that feeds Lake Mead, where I was at. I had to go over to Google Earth, and I went to Lake Powell, I went to Lake Granby, and then Shadow Mountain Lake, which is up in the Rocky Mountains, and then I went up to the very beginning of the Colorado River, which flows down through Colorado, Utah, northern Arizona, and then, of course, over through southern Nevada. And I found a common trend over here on Google Earth. I went to Lake Mead myself and then Google Earth for these other two locations that I'm going to share with you guys here in just a moment. But first, over here at poweroutage.us, you can see once again we're seeing multi-state power outages as powerful thunderstorms are once again building in the skies above the eastern United States. We're looking at power outages now in South and North Carolina, Virginia just over 10,000, still over 100,000 customers without electricity in Wisconsin from last night's storms. Ohio still trying to get the power back on from storms a couple of days ago. Coming over here to the Schumann resonance, I wanted to show you guys a large, very noticeable, long duration spike that just so happened to coincide with the supermoon of the 14th of June. A couple of days ago, there was a supermoon, and at its perigee, its closest approach to the Earth, there was a significant long duration spike noticed in the Schumann resonance, and that is not a coincidence. Over here at poweroutage.us, once again, nearly 300,000 customers without electricity right now as I do this video. I wanted to go back to Lake Mead. I wanted to share a video with you guys that I didn't share in my live stream. I honestly was having difficulty keeping a connection out here. It was far away from the city and it was very hot, so my recording device was getting hot, and the recording from Lake Mead here was kind of intermittent. It was a little better over at the Hoover Dam, and I'd also like to thank Eduardo who sent me a $100 donation while I was out here during this live stream, and I really appreciate that, but I couldn't see my screen, to be honest with you. It was so bright, and my device was very hot. It kept going in and out, but I got the message, Eduardo, that you had sent this donation as I was already on my way back to town, so I didn't get a chance to stop at the gift shop, but I wanted to give you a big shout out and say thanks for the donation. I really appreciate it. But honestly, I was kind of having some challenges out here. Again, my device was getting hot and kept flickering on and off, and the screen itself, I was unable to see it because the sun was so bright. I was anticipating it to be hot, which I'm no stranger to heat because I live in the desert, but the recording device did not like the high temperatures. But looking at this boat ramp right here, you can see how incredibly long it is, and there was a sign posted showing where the water line was back in 2000 and how long the boat ramp has grown since then. I don't even think you can put boats in down there unless you have a high-profile vehicle, and that would be a truck that has a lift kit on it, because an ordinary truck that does not have a lift kit will not be able to make it in and out of the lake. I wanted to share another video that I took while walking along the new shoreline of Lake Mead, and you can see the boats out here at the marina. Right here where I was standing is where the marina used to be at one point in time. This is the bottom of Lake Mead. This area has not seen the light of day since the 1930s, at least direct sunlight, because it's been covered by water for over 80 years. And now the water has receded and you can see the bottom of the lake. And there were all kinds of odd things down here on the bottom of the lake. I found lanterns and fishing poles. Here's the lantern I ran across. There was some furniture, old chairs, cables, anchors. I found part of a boat hull back over there to my right. But I did record some of this shoreline here, new shoreline, and there's where the marina is located now. There's a chair, and you can see the bathtub rings off in the distance. And I focused in on that little like hilltop over there because you can clearly see where the water once was. And this top part here was a little island out here in the middle of Lake Mead. And now you can see that island has grown exponentially. I was looking back towards the new parking lot. Those cars that I just showed you right there are parked actually where the lake used to be. That land right there has not been exposed to sunlight again since the early 1930s before they filled up the reservoir. But here's a look at Lake Mead, and I wanted to show you guys what I found. A common denominator, if you will, with a couple of other reservoirs that are integrated into the Colorado River, starting out up here at Shadow Mountain Lake. Then there's Lake Granby, and then the Colorado River flows through Lake Granby, down through Lake Powell, and then into Lake Mead. Lake Powell has a dam just like Lake Mead that also has a power plant. Lake Granby does not, but this is where the Colorado River originates up there in the location of Lake Granby, and I'm going to take you guys up there right now. In fact, here's the start of the Colorado River up here in the Rocky Mountains in northeastern Colorado. Right here is where the river starts. Check that out. Comes down over into Grand Lake. Here's Lake Granby, and this is Shadow Mountain Lake right here. And then there's also runoff, snowmelt that runs into Shadow Mountain Lake from this side over here on the west. And then there's also snowmelt that comes into Grand Lake from the mountain peaks as the snow melts, and it pools down here in these lakes and reservoirs, and then it flows over into Lake Granby. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a dam also here at Lake Granby. You can see it right here. It looks like an earthen dam. And right here's the release of the water from Lake Granby, which turns back into the Colorado River, and that rolls all the way downhill. It's about 7,800 feet, I think, up in here, goes down to Lake Powell. Coming over here to Lake Powell, the dam right here at the reservoir is built just like the dam at Hoover Dam, and there's also a hydroelectric plant right here at the Glen Canyon Dam at Lake Powell. This is what controls the water that goes to Lake Mead, and this water flows through the Grand Canyon right through here. The Colorado River runs through the Grand Canyon, and then ultimately over here to Lake Mead, where I was at 2 days ago on the 14th, and I was walking along this shoreline right here. In fact, I was at this boat ramp you see right here that's over 1,000 feet long now. The water used to be way up here along this road. I was walking along the water right here. And again, this land has not been exposed to direct sunlight since the 1930s. I wanted to share some photos with you guys of all three reservoirs and something that all three of them have in common. And we're going to start off up here at Lake Granby. Here's what the shoreline looks like, and you can clearly see the water has receded from this area up here. This is where the water used to be a few years ago. Look how far down it's gone. You can no longer use this boat ramp. You can't get your boat in the water here. There's just a simple dock here, and that's it. And here's another photo from Lake Granby. Again, this is up near the starting point of the Colorado River. You can see how wide this is now. Water used to be up here, not down here. So water is disappearing from Lake Granby. Here's a photo when the water was more present at Lake Granby. Look at that. See there? Guy pulling his boat in right here at the edge of what's now bone dry. Look at that. Guy was putting his boat in right here. So water is disappearing from Lake Granby. Let's go down to Lake Powell. We're on a boat out in the middle of the lake, and you can clearly see the familiar bathtub rings. And I've seen those myself. Here's another view of the bathtub rings at Lake Powell. Very obvious. That tells us that the lake is very low. Here's a boat ramp at Lake Powell. This is the bottom part of the boat ramp. And again, all of this area here used to be underwater. Some of these boats here, the bigger boats, cannot even get out of the marina because the water's not deep enough anymore in that particular area. Here's the boat ramp at Lake Powell. Here's a wider view. You can see how long this one is. This is well over 1,000 feet long. Look at that. You can see the starting point, which was right up here many years ago. People would put their boats in right here. Now it's all the way down here to the left as far as you can see, and the marina is way over there. Look at that. Just incredible. So Lake Powell, like Lake Mead, is also incredibly low. Here's pictures from Lake Mead that I took myself. And all three of these reservoirs have two things in common. They all sit on the Colorado River, and right now they're all three extremely low, showing shoreline that's never before been seen. That could be associated with the ongoing extreme drought that we're having out here in the Southwest, or it could be something else. And I've got people telling me there's plenty of snow melt up in the Rockies that feeds the Colorado River, that the river itself should not be low, but yet I'm sitting here at the end of a boat ramp, and I can hardly see the boats down in the water that is retreating day by day, inch by inch, to where the bathtub rings are getting larger and larger. This is a boat ramp at Lake Mead, and again, that's over 1,000 feet, I think 1,500 feet long. In fact, right here at this line is where people used to put their boats in. So again, all three of these reservoirs, the largest reservoirs on the Colorado River, Lake Granby, Lake Powell, and Lake Mead, are all showing signs of water loss. In fact, so low that they're starting to show land that hasn't been seen in many, many decades. And I also wanted to check out the Hoover Dam. I'd never been up to the Hoover Dam, and again, that is a very impressive engineering marvel that was completed over 80 years ago. And again, this thing was constructed, completed without the use of computers, modern day technology. That indeed was a sight to see. Definitely an engineering marvel. Got a video I'd like to share with you guys, sent in by Pete. Not sure of the location, but it was from the night of June 14th, the night of the Supermoon. I think these were some of the storms that have been going through the Central Plains, causing all the power outages. This is an incredible video of lightning crawling through the sky. Once again, on the night of June 14th, I want to say from the North Central Plains. Video sent in by Pete. Thank you, Pete. If you guys have any photos or videos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports@MrMBB333.com. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.